Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? What's going on? Dr. Feelgood, good morning, crew. What's up? Mr. Keith, K-Save, how are you doing today? How have you been? Greek Mike in the house. Good morning, sir. What's going on? MP, today is Friday. Let's go. Let's go. 4-day work week crew. I think I'm going to do the same today. I think I am going to pop out of here and go home for the weekend. Make this a short week. It hasn't been too busy. David, what's up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right, the week is flying by. Where did it go? Sometimes when you take a Monday off or are forced to take a Monday off, it just goes quick. Especially if you're like me and MP and you also take the Friday off. 3-day work week is the alpha. Um, Hopefully when Gary takes over the world, he also institutes the 3 or 4 day work week, although he is a 24/7 worker, so I doubt he will. You took Friday off too last week? Nice. Yeah, I didn't do that. I went home a little early on Friday, but yeah, it was a really long weekend. When you take Friday and Monday off, it's really long. Especially got a lot of family and friends in town. It was busy, busy. But yeah, it's the week is going quick. The week is almost over. Um, Sun's almost out here, ready to take on the Thursday. Was feeling a little groggy this morning. Um, but I'm coming out of it, you know. You guys make me smile, man. Seeing all you guys here, checking in. The first second I hit go live, I was looking at like a 0 on the counter and I was like, oh, that's weird. And then all of a sudden I just saw the messages pop through and it makes me smile seeing all you people showing up and saying hi. So thank you so much. Anyone over on X, Twitter, listening in. I know it's harder for you to comment and chat, but come on over to Twitch where it's easy, and we will talk. We will engage. We will ask you how you're doing and all those good things. Let's do something we haven't done in a really long time. Let's click a banner here and say, "Ooh, sharing daily gratitude live." Who wants to drop some gratitude? What are you all grateful for? Could be just the easy, simple things in life like happiness, good health, family. It could be things like the Daily Dad Crew, because I'm super grateful for all you guys. Like I said, I wasn't feeling that great this morning. Um, and just starting the show and seeing the messages come through. So super grateful for all you guys popping in here, saying hello. If literally you just came in here and said good morning and made me point 0.5, 1.5 better. Um, Thank you. Appreciate you all. But yeah, what else? Anyone else grateful for something? I know MP's grateful that it's Friday. It's his Friday. I know he's happy. David's always grateful for the Twitch commercials. We know he loves them. Uh, they make him smile every morning. They're incredible variety. Jason, can you pop up or do you need me to add? Oh, no, not ready. All right, go away. He's back. What up, 9 plus, Jason?
Hey, Dom. Good
How's
morning.
it going?
Good. I was not ready because I am doing that thing that we talked about yesterday morning. Just a little description. Just trying to be a little more organized since I
Yeah.
have this time in the mornings for a little bit of back end book working. I'm just giving a little bit of context into these descriptions and
Gotcha.
all these social media feeds that I sometimes check and sometimes don't. How are you today? While I click and
Do you,
type.
do you want me to remove you again and I'll talk to myself some more?
No, I'm in now.
Um, yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm better now because that made me laugh.
Uh,
Sometimes I don't know if you like can't bring yourself up or not. So I was
no, the
staring at
only
you.
the only time I can't come in is when I'm on my phone in the car, which I don't like doing.
Yeah,
But if I text you guys asking for the link, then I'll do it.
gotcha.
But no, I'm just you know, typing important things. Some little thoughts on today's reading. Um,
All right,
I
there you
enjoyed
go.
it today. Super easy to connect with to competition. I'm sure many of our kids are in some kind of competition, whether it's with themselves or
Yeah.
on team sports. What's up with you? Gratitude. What's good? What's some do you want to share?
So mine was like I was saying, I wasn't nine plus Dom in the morning. I was feeling a little out of it. I think for some reason my sleep got cut a little short. I woke up, 50 something minutes before my alarm. And went on autopilot, just getting myself ready and going to work. And then once I got in the car, I was like, I didn't actually hear my alarm. And I checked the time and I'm like, oh yeah, that's because it's, a 50-minute uh, mental, kick in the face. Whatever happened, I don't know. And so I was feeling a little, out of sorts. I've been a little out of sorts all week just because, as you guys know, it was a short week. It was a long weekend. I was very hungover at the beginning of it. I left my book, my Kindle, and my journals at home. I've been at work the last 3 days. So my morning routine, my like prep work that I do before this call, it's been out of sorts. So I was actually just organizing my office because I received a delivery of a bunch of light fixtures the other day for an upcoming house. So it's kind of crowding my space a little bit. So I organized that before the call. And my, going back to what you asked, my gratitude was going from being kind of like groggy and out of it in the morning to like signing on and seeing like all the people say hello just made me very filled with gratitude that we got David, Dr. Feelgood, Mike, K-Save, all the friends coming in and just popping in and just saying hello, even if they're not chatting too much, even if they're doing their thing in their background and whatever they have going on in the morning. Just grateful to have some friends hanging out with me in the morning.
Yeah. At the very least, for those of us that are maybe just kind of listening while walking, definitely not talking while walking. That's impossible. I don't even know how people do that. But always feel free to come back with any kind of thoughts or questions and share with us. Because when the chat gets going, that's like a little shot of coffee in the morning to get
Yeah,
us going. Um, Dr.
but
Feelgood seems to have a good string of days with like giving us some great questions and conversation. So thank you, Doctor.
where are you at on gratitude?
Yesterday, let's go with yesterday. I don't have one chosen. Me and Kristen, we had a good money talk. We have a super busy June,
Hmm.
um, and she recently changed jobs for peace of mind, but also took a pay cut, which
Okay.
that's the stress that I think is a better option.
Yep.
And around dinner time, we got this deck of cards, kind of like how Ryan pops up with one of those cards once in a while. One of the questions, I forget what the question was, but it dealt with like some kind of challenge, and we got to talk with the girls a little bit about that whole process of mom switching jobs and might not have the money to do all the things that we want to do. We just have to be more careful with it. But sometimes a dream job is not what you want to do all the time. Sometimes a dream job is choosing what problems you want to deal with.
Yeah.
Well, the question was, how do you make hard decisions? Um, and mine was, what problems would I rather deal with rather than other ones? Because usually that's what it comes down to. It's like, what do you want to deal with? What don't you want to deal with? It's not like sometimes it's happy, like sometimes it's, happy thoughts that get you going. And sometimes it's like you just want to deal with certain piles of shit and leave other piles of shit untouched.
Yep. So you guys sat down, the 2 of you, and then invited the girls into the conversation, or you guys sat down all as a family?
Oh no, family. Uh,
Nice.
we don't always do it. Probably like
Yeah.
once, maybe every other night, more during
Oof.
the summer. Um, and sometimes we have conversations, and sometimes things go absolutely haywire, and the girls are running around avoiding eating, which is on the inside burns me, makes me really angry. But I sit there and look like I'm enjoying the meal that I cooked for them. Sometimes I get leftovers.
Oh, man. Yeah, mealtime's a rough one. I mean, it sounds like you have at least a closer to having it under control, whereas, uh, mine's just total shit show.
There are times when it appears to be under control. You're right.
Yeah.
And sometimes
There's no such thing as a mealtime, there's no such thing as a family sit down, like, we don't eat the same foods, we don't eat at the same times. Half the times, I don't even know if my kids are eating. Um, yeah, it's something else.
Dr. Feelgood coming in. Yeah, it is like a muscle. Um, that's
Yeah, I
one way to
think
look at it.
that was one of the things that I caught on to pretty early in the reading, and, like, you know, I don't know if it's credit to Ryan Holiday, I'm sure it is, but, like, that was something that I learned that I never knew growing up, like, never really, it never really hit me, like, that the mind is a muscle, and, like, using it through these repetitions of, like, I just always thought, like, it was just hard to do these certain things, like reading and journaling and writing, because I just always fought them, and then it finally clicked for me later in life that it was like, oh, the more I read, the more I journal, the more I write, the more I have these deep, complex thoughts, the more that I have these, deeper talks with people, and, in these relationship forming moments, the easier this all is getting for me.
Yeah, I can connect with that for sure. Even just like our banter back and forth, like that's a
Yeah.
skill
Yep.
that I have previously thought maybe I wasn't so good at. Like there's definitely times, you're meeting maybe meeting somebody new, or maybe you're talking with somebody that you've talked with before, but like the conversation fuel runs out. I think
Hmm.
it's just a muscle that you just get good at picking up on threads and hopefully using that to go a little bit deeper. Like I mentioned a few days ago, that I was with my good buddy Andrew Paulison, who I don't think is listening. I think he's still sleeping. I've known him for 30-ish years, probably. Um, and, probably like my closest friend out here. Um, and we get together maybe like once a month, maybe once a month. We got girls, and sometimes we're talking, and sometimes we, the conversation ends. Sometimes you just sit there, and sometimes I'm like, why aren't we talking more? But then other times it's like, what have we not talked about that we can probably guess what each other's response is? So, like, could it be slightly scratchy and uncomfortable? Yes, but that's also an invitation to maybe go deeper, or talk about things that you haven't talked about with somebody. um so yeah, it's a practice like everything else, just like parenthood and fatherhood and companionship. I hope I can do all these things that I say in the morning during the day. Sometimes I feel like I make really good
Oof.
points in the morning, and then like
Oh
totally don't
yeah.
practice them during the day.
No, it's that's one of the things that I still would probably struggle with the most with the morning practice is is so the other part of Ryan Holiday is the Daily Stoic, right? So I do his journal, and he has a morning, and he has space for a morning and an afternoon writing. And the morning is supposed to be like you read the page, you kind of pontificate on it and write your feelings and your thoughts or what you want to do or how you want to go about your day. And then the afternoon writing is supposed to be like a reflection on how you did. And I do it the next morning, like, so I just so only have one session of journaling. So in the morning, I'll do the evening prior. And I can't tell you how many times I read my morning writing, and then the next day I'm like, wow, I really didn't do any of this. Like I really didn't remember this. Like it'll be something where it's like, don't be competitive. And then I'll think about my day and I'm like, I was really competitive yesterday. Like I just went and did the opposite.
I beat my kids to dinner because I was hungry and practiced nothing.
Good morning, Jay. How are you doing? But yeah, it is very, very difficult to keep some of these thoughts in your head and then, go into the morning, with the thought of like, okay, I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna work on just this one simple thing. And then the day gets after you. And then you get to the end of the day and you're like, oh, I was supposed to work on this one thing. What was it? What was I supposed to teach my kids or tell my kids or yeah, parenting, life. It all gets in the way. It all just jumbles into mush. And then you get through the end of the day and you're like, I survived.
Yeah. I have a lot of time to think about that. Like yesterday, I'd like to try to think like back weeks. Like I guess I'm normally now that we're now that we're talking about it and flexing this muscle when I'm home all day. Um, I get to focus in the morning, and then the day is sometimes putting out fires because Kristen's working in the office. Sometimes uh, she's on for a few hours, and it's just me. And sometimes the day looks like putting out fires. Someday it's really quiet, and I'm wondering at what point can I start becoming less reactionary to the things coming around, like the things that happen. Like it starts with the kids needing some breakfast that requires like some cooking or something. Then it just kind of rolls from there. It's just kind of like I'm kind of walking around checking off this list without like maybe setting the path. I don't know. I think that's the one thing that I struggle with the summer is instead of reacting to all this stuff going on, setting it in motion earlier than it happens.
Ooh. Yeah, I sometimes you want to have a plan or a path, but it's hard to do that when just knowing the way life is. Like even in just in my work, which I feel like I should have a little bit more control in my work. Um, being the let's call me the boss, the quote unquote manager. Uh, I'll set my intentions for the day, and they will easily be thrown out within the first hour because of some call, because of some thing that I see at the first job site that triggers me to go in a completely different path. And I mean, parenting, even especially in summer break where there's no routine, there's no school, there's no, like there's no routine basically. Uh, it definitely makes it more difficult to follow that path that you set for yourself
Mhm.
if that's what you do in the morning, right?
Yes.
Sometimes it's just easier just to not set the path and just wake up and say, I'm going to go with the flow today. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be present. I'm going to, be the things that I want to be, that we're learning about, that we're reading about, that we're saying we want to be. And at the end of the day, if I fail in a couple of times, there's always tomorrow. Kids know I love them. That's kind of the easier way to go about it, right?
Sometimes it is. Yes.
Oof.
Um,
Jay gets to be home with his family for a few weeks. That's something to be grateful for. Jay travels a lot for work, is away from the wife and kids quite often. So let's all be grateful for the fact that Jay gets to be back at home base for a couple of weeks.
let's learn about Jay. What does Jay do? What brings you away from home, Jay?
Feel like I heard somewhere he works for Apple. I'm not 100% sure that that's correct, but uh and yes, he's a card breaker. He's one of the two of To the Moon cards. So that's his night hustle or after hours hustle is ripping cards.
Gotcha. A little bit of ASMR. Apple, huh? Little local
Hmm.
food company. That's great. Cool.
Yes, he sells fruit off of trees.
Over the hood. Um, let's get let's get into today's page. Let's talk about competition and winning and losing.
I thought we were talking about the page the whole time.
Yeah, we did. I'm trying to be mind
Circle
conscious.
back. Let's go.
Let's circle back on the page. How do your kids win and lose? This is a conversation I have had with my oldest about how to
Yeah.
win with compassion. She had a stellar soccer season despite our head coach's best effort to schedule challenging games. We we kind of smeared them, kind of smeared the other teams. We, not me. I'm just watching. The girls, our girls, they did great last season. Before we really knew they were before the girls kind of before we knew like what kind of talent we had, and I'm definitely flexing IDK's talent here. IDK is the name that they gave themselves. We had a few games where the score went over what's comfortable. Like have your kids ever been in a game where it's like they're kind of blowing out the team, and you have
Yeah.
to say like, "Hey, we got to cool it," but you don't want to say it on the field because
My son was on the opposite. Like, so he started soccer, and we very much had like the ragtag team that didn't know what they were getting into. Bunch of first years, um, bunch of like absences at practices and games. So like the team was never very full. It seemed like the coach was one of the coaches that got pulled into it. Oh, I've been in a couple enough leagues to know that the league will always say, if someone doesn't step up to managing coach, we're just not going to have a team, so your kids aren't going to get to play. So it felt very much like this was one of those teams where these parents were just, they had to step up, but it wasn't their thing. It wasn't anything that they knew what they were doing or were passionate about or anything like that. And so we were the team getting like blown out and destroyed um, most of the games. And I remember one game, the coach just really, really tried his hardest to tell his two or three best players to just like stay back, to like not cross the middle, to not like be so assertive and just kind of like allow our kids to kick the ball around a little bit better. And he was he was very helpful in like directing traffic with our kids, because sometimes our kids will go the opposite direction. Um, and he was very lenient on like who actually kicked the ball out of bounds, because at that age, and it was on like a, this is one of the things that I didn't really care for, is it was on a very low, how do I say this, like a very like, I don't know. It was on a turf field, and the ball just like you kick it and it just really rolls. And the boundaries of this soccer field for this age are very small. So it's like a kid just gives it a little tap, and it rolls out of bounds. So it's like the ball spent more time out of bounds than it did inbounds, which is cool because the kids like to stop, grab the ball, and use their hands to throw it in. So yeah, I felt they did well as a team. They did well as losers, and they did well. The winning teams did very well as well.
Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, we've been on both ends of that. And I remember being a kid and losing terribly and also like blowing out teams as well. And it's really easy for kids to start to gloat, even though that's not really what they intend to mean.
Yeah.
So I would say that like good sportsmanship is probably more important when you're winning, like handedly over another team, and teaching how to win with some class, you know.
Hmm.
And then there's also teams where we've won, but like the team just turn into a bunch of assholes, super physical, and that's always going to happen too. Um, and and I'm thankful that this season we got to teach sportsmanship through the former of one of those. Um, Sometimes I wonder if there's times where, when I'm successful, do I gloat or do I win with compassion? I think I do.
You feel like your kids do?
I think my kids do, yeah. I mean, my 6-year-old definitely, like, loses their shit when something doesn't go our way, so we'll see what happens with this upcoming T-ball. Oh, man, T-ball. T-ball is worse than no, it's not worse. It's just, more it's harder to control than a 6-year-old's kick on a turf soccer field. It is like, Lord of the Flies. We're only, like,
Yeah.
3rd
I did a
practice
couple. I
one
did a
game.
couple softball t-ball seasons. So I remember those days very vaguely. But
Yeah,
yes. It's
and
all very, very, very crazy. But that's part of the fun of it. And I like, I think the hardest part is when you have the parents and the kids, like you just have the range of skill level. Like you have the kids that are just being put there. They don't really want to be there, but they're just trying to be put there because their parents, rightfully so, want them to do a sport, want them to be outdoors, want them to find something team sport like. Then you have the kids that like kind of want to be there, don't really have the skill level, but kind of learning. And then you have like the kids that could go pro, or the kids that could go pro at anything, like the where the parents are yelling and screaming from the stands, like, and they're running in circles. It cracks me up every time. I mean, they do make these teams very, a lot of the leagues do make the teams very evenly, um, which is good, but it's just funny to me.
yeah. My challenge that I've realized is that, it was a quite a shift coming from, like, a 12-year-old soccer team that's pretty that's pretty disciplined, and
Yep.
then going back to 6-year-olds who, just put a baseball glove on for the first time ever and teaching just basic throwing mechanics again. But I'm really appreciating being on a baseball field again. Um, that's been quite a while since I've done that. So I'm taking that as a win.
It's like a restart, man.
Yeah.
That's why you have the second and the third kid, and then some, to try again.
Truth. Well, that's it
Baseball
for me.
parents.
I have to go make eggs.
All right,
His
man.
footsteps are running around.
See you later. Thanks for joining, everyone. Uh, Politics and kids sports sucks 100%. Everyone enjoy your Thursday, or Friday if you're lucky enough for this to be the end. Jay let's all give a shout out to Jay. He gets to be home with his family. That's the best news of the week. But yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, I should be on tomorrow, Friday. We'll see. I might sleep in. But yeah, have a good day, man. Love you.
I
Love
wish
you
you guys
all.
a +9. And if you're not a +9, I wish for you guys to get there.
Yeah, let's go. All right, see you everybody. Peace
See you
out.
later.